What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are back at the shop. We had a great time last weekend in Sarasota at the Sarasota Guitar Show, and we picked up a ton of guitars and a ton of gear. So we didn't get to show you guys everything in that video. Today's video, we're gonna go through some of our fresh finds. Most of the acquisitions happened on Saturday. We actually had so much stuff that Eric and Thomas were kind enough to drive it back to the shop Saturday night, so shout out to Eric and Thomas. The next guitar show that we are going to be at is going to be the Atlanta Guitar Show. That is coming up August 22nd and 23rd. So if you are in Atlanta or the surrounding areas, we will see you there. We'll start here. This guitar did make it into the video, but no pun intended. It's a classic. I feel like we've bought so many of these at guitar shows and you guys always want them, so we keep getting them, and that is the Gibson Les Paul Classic. This one is in ebony, and this is a 2023, so kind of at the tail end of classic production, at least up to this point. They're currently not making the classic, but yeah, we got one of the newer ones. Doesn't get much cooler than that. 0 pickups, very class. It sounds great. This one came in with like all the candy and the fun stuff too. So you get your microfiber cloth, you get your tool, you get your Gibson strap, yeah, you get it all. This next one is a Reverend. This is a Reverend Roundhouse. This is not a guitar that we've had before. We have had a few guitars from Reverend. Shout out to Reverend. We've seen them at the last few guitar shows and their whole crew has been really cool. So we like Reverend. We do get their guitars here and there. And this is a cool one. This one, as you can probably see, has not been cleaned up or set up yet. So excited to get this one on the bench. But yeah, very straight ahead guitar. Even in its current state, it's still playing really great. Set neck. All the fun stuff. These are made in Korea and then set up in the States, I think. Yeah. Designed and set up by Reverend Guitars USA, proudly crafted by Mirror Music Limited, Korea. So yeah, made in Korea and then basically QC'd in the States, which is why they're able to be at the price point that they are. This next guitar came from a pretty big haul, and that is an Ibanez Prestige with this kind of crazy ebony swirl finish. This one has been totally modded out. There's a lot that we got to document here, but I think it was all done tastefully, so we're probably going to leave it in its current configuration, even though we do have a lot of the original parts. So the way we'll probably sell this will just be, you know, it's modded, it's hot rodded, however you want to put it, and but it's got a lot of the original parts in the case. Now, I learned something with this guitar that I didn't know actually prior to this. This is a Prestige, but it is actually made in Korea. I assumed that all Ibanez Prestige guitars were made in Japan, but this one is not. Still plays really great and came set up quite nicely. So it'll still need its time on the bench to go through it, but yeah, this is great. When we got this one, we also got different, like we got some rack gear, we got some Rocktron power amps, some Rocktron MIDI controllers, some PreSonus gear. A lot of that will end up on the Flash Flood Warehouse Deals Reverb shop, as it doesn't fit like our primary inventory as much, but lots of cool finds there. And then another highlight from that is actually right here. We got this Marshall 1960 vintage cab, which is the slant version of the 1960, but it has the Marshall like Celestion vintage style speaker. So they're very close to V30s. They're not exactly V30s, but since we've got this, I already put 2 greenbacks in it. So I got 2 of the Heritage greenbacks, and that's in the top left and top right. So we got a bit of an X pattern going on there. And for now, this is gonna stay around for demos. That's obviously why I swapped the speakers. We wouldn't do that if we were gonna be selling it immediately. But yeah, now we've got a couple options. Almost every demo we've done in the last like year or whatever has been with the orange cab, which is great. We love the orange cab, but now we will have a second flavor for cabs. Another thing I learned with regards to country of origin is I assumed that, let's see, I've been assuming too positively here, that the newer Celestion greenbacks are made in England like the old ones, and they're not. They're made in China, so you have to find the Heritage greenbacks to get the ones made in England to the vintage specs. So I hunted down 2 of those. There's some very rock and bass happening in the other room right now. Shout out to Doc Rowdy. This is a 1978 Gibson The Paul Firebrand. I love these. I know we've shown a couple of these on the channel before, but super straight ahead guitars, kind of existing somewhere between like a Les Paul Special or Studio, but these have T-top pickups, which sound awesome. This is a great example too. After all that talk about speakers, we got to see how they sound, so I don't think there is a better guitar in this lot to do that with than this. So we're gonna hear this guitar through the Marshall cab with the greenback speaker. What head are we going to use, you might ask? Another fresh find. This is a Sovtek Mig 100. This is one of the first things I picked up at the show. Someone that I've known for quite a while brought this over to the booth, and I immediately was like, man, I gotta have this. We're gonna need that. And I, of course, originally intended, I'm like, we'll get it in, we'll do a couple demos with it and we'll sell it, but it sounds so different than the MiG 50 that I think we're gonna need to keep this and the MiG 50 around. Let's hear how all that sounds. You guys always ask, can you get more lefties? And today the answer is yes. We got this Fender 69 reissue Mustang made in Japan in lefty in Sonic Blue. There you have it. Shout out to our dear friend Izzy Miller who hooked it up on this one. He's been having a rough couple weeks, so yeah, keep him in your thoughts. He's been going through it, but I just talked to him a couple nights ago and it sounds like he's turning the corner. So shout out to Izzy. And we appreciate you hooking it up with this guitar. All right. Here we have a newer Epiphone Les Paul. This is the Les Paul Modern and a very cool sparkling burgundy. Nice dark fretboard, love that. We don't do a lot of these newer Epiphones. As I've talked about a lot, I definitely prefer a lot of the older MIJ stuff that's in a similar price range. With this though, these come in at quite a bit less than most of the like MIJ Les Paul style guitars we get. So figured this was still worth taking in. I think this was really great for what it is. Definitely a solid guitar within its price class. And yeah, it's got some nice modern features like the locking tuners. So for the money, it's a very solid guitar. It's maybe not like a bread and butter guitar for us, but yeah. I talk about this pretty frequently, but like there's definitely a pretty tight criteria of what I'm looking for the shop when I'm buying. But when people want to do trade-ins or sell us like a whole collection at once, obviously I'm willing to open up the scope a little bit. And this is a situation like that where we got a bunch of stuff in all at once, and we were still happy to take this in, even if it's not one of like the exact things that we're after. Here we have Fender made in Mexico Strat HSS in a Sienna Sunburst with a nice bit of flame there. Pretty cool. This is from the 70th anniversary line, so yeah. Very cool guitar, very affordable Strat. We picked up not one, but two MIM Strats. So here's another one. Once again, HSS pickup configuration. This is one of the player Strats in a nice Capri orange. This one is definitely in need of a setup. We still got some plastic under the knob there, but that's why this is a fresh find. It's fresh. This next one is extremely sick. Not an Alex guitar by any means, but a very cool guitar. The EVH Wolfgang Special in black with the yellow stripes. Very, very sick. You love to see it. And for as much as this is not an Alex guitar, I've actually been really enjoying this. Comes with the D tuner, so you can go from your standard to your drop D tuning. Right now it sounds like we're in E flat, but if we drop that out, now we're drop C sharp. Pretty sick. These are made in Mexico. For those unaware, EVH is a sub-brand of Fender, and these are made in Mexico just like the other Strats we just looked at. They also do a lot of their Charvels in that same factory. There you go. There's your cameo. Here we have another Epiphone Les Paul. This one is a little bit higher end. This is the Alex Lifeson signature Les Paul with the Floyd Rose. Very rock and roll. I will fully admit this is not an Alex guitar at all. Well, it's an Alex Lifeson guitar. It's not an Alex Budnick guitar, but yeah, cool guitar. Once again, excited to get this one set up. Got a nice flame there, but yeah, super cool specs here. Once again, it's got a little carve there. Very modern playing and feeling guitar. cool specs at an affordable price point, and obviously modeled after a legendary guitarist guitar. This is the first guitar we took in during the show. It actually made it in the video a little bit. And that is an Electra MPC 350. This is the Model X350. So these guitars take 2 cartridges, and so you can have built-in effects, which is pretty rad. Otherwise, it's a somewhat like straight ahead MIJ, Les Paul style guitar, but Electra definitely puts their own flair on things. I know they weren't going for like a direct clone of a Les Paul like maybe Greco or Tokai does, but well themed after the Les Paul. A little latch here, slide that over. You can get to your modules. And so we've got the fuzz module in there now. That is the only one this came in with, but there was a plethora of options of different sounds that you could integrate right into your electric guitar. These are pretty cool. They have quite the cult following, and I've been seeing more and more people talk about them lately. So surprisingly, with all the Japanese guitars we've never had one of these before. So yeah, very excited to find this one. All right, and the last guitar ended up being, I think, my favorite guitar that we picked up at the show. I didn't know it at the time, but once we got it back and set up, I was really, really liking this one. This is a Fender American Vintage 59 reissue Stratocaster, which is a reissue year that they don't do all that often. These are actually fairly rare within the American Vintage line, but yeah, cool straight ahead Strat, beautiful lacquer finish. Really like the neck on here because it's pretty slim, but you know, it's still got a little bit of chunkiness to it. It's nothing too crazy. It's just kind of, you know, somewhere between slim and medium, which I like a lot. Maple board, very resonant, gives you a lot back. Let's go plug this one in. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out with us today. And thank you to everybody who came by the booth in Sarasota. Had so much fun talking to everybody and hanging out and acquiring some cool guitars along the way. We are excited to see you guys out there at the Atlanta Guitar Show. In the fall, we'll also be at the Mesquite Guitar Show and the Philly Guitar Show. So we will see y'all out there later this year. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite guitar was from this haul. As I said, this one's got to be my favorite, but there's a lot of good ones this week. It was a good blend. We got a lot of stuff that was kind of more affordable, which is maybe not the first thing I look for, but a lot of people were just bringing guitars in that they want to sell as a whole collection or trade in towards something else. And anytime that we can make things like that happen, we're always down to. I know in particular, like the Reverend and one of the MIM Strats came in from somebody who wanted to get into Orville by Gibson Les Paul, and they sat at the booth and played it for a pretty long time, and I could just tell they were like really enjoying that guitar. And so, you know, whatever we can do to get people where they want to go. If it makes sense for us and we can get somebody a piece of gear that they're kind of aspiring to, then that's a big win. If you are interested in any of this gear, except for the Sovtek or the Marshall cab, we'd love if you checked out our inventory at flashfootagear.com, or you could scan the QR code here. We are getting all this stuff listed as we speak, so yeah, you'll see it all there on the site. Quite a bit of it is already up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff really does help us out, and we will see you in another video soon. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, you may enjoy this one as well.